Welcome to Clyde Samvada, brought to you by the Hindu Temple of Scotland. Namaste to all. We have Dr. Srihari with us again. And if you look at the most common request that we have at the temple for puja, especially for pujas that are done at home, it's usually Satyanarayana Puja, which is for Satyanarayana Puja along with the Katha. So it kind of is usually called Satyanarayana Vrata Pooja. So since that's been a very common request that we have had, I think it's a very appropriate that we talk a bit about why we do it, how we do it, what is the significance of that, especially in Kali Yuga. So we are going to have a samvada around all of that, and we have Dr. Srihari, who has done number of Satyanarayana Vrata Pujas both at the temple as well as at homes. So Srihari, welcome to Clyde Samvada again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Srivas, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, Sabhabhyo Namaha. That's a very, very beautiful topic to talk about, Sri Satyanarayana Vrata Vaibhava. So, let us start by remembering a very beautiful verse composed by Adi Shankaracharya in his composition Bhaja Govindam. For me, personally, Satyanarayana Vrata is about the people that it brings together.
Mm-hmm.
And when we bring people together, it is the sangatvam, the companionship and the togetherness that brings together. And on that very topic, Adi Shankaracharya has written, Satsangatve Nisangatvam, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatvam Nischalatvam, Nischalatve Jivanamuktihi, Bhaja Govindam.
Bhaja Govindam.
As a part of performing Sri Satyanarayana Puja, what we are doing is offering prayers to Govinda, to Vishnu himself. And the Vaibhava that I wish to talk about today is bringing together the like-mindedness, bringing together the people for one common purpose, and which is to offer prayers to Vishnu. And the reason we offer prayers to Vishnu is for our own benefit and also for Loka Kalyanam. These are the two reasons why we perform Sri Satyanarayana Vrata.
Very nice. So when we think about satsangam part of what this brings in, so can you kind of take us through on the steps involved? Who are we bringing in the satsangam group into the family or into a temple when we perform the ritual?
Yes, so the first thing that we do when we perform Sri Satyanarayana Vrata is we take a sankalpa.
Yeah. We had an episode, the first episode of Clyde Samvada was on Sankalpa, in fact.
So I remember that. It was It was you sharing the knowledge on the act of Sankalpa. So we start with Sankalpa. When we perform the Sankalpa, we say why we are doing it. We are doing it for our own abhivriddhi, for our own development, for our own prosperity, for our own peace. But we also do it for the abhivriddhi, the peace, and the Loka Kalyana, for the benefit of everyone else. So that is the reason why. And when we perform, when we take the Sankalpa, what we say is we invite Ganesha, we invite Varuna, we invite Brahma, we invite Surya and the Navagraha, and we invite Indra and the Astaloka Pala, and we invite Ganapati and the Chatushta Devata, and we offer puja to them. And following that, we invite Sri Lakshmi and Vishnu himself into our home. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking a sankalpa that we are inviting the entire Vaikuntha, the Vishnu Sabha, into our home or into the temple when we offer the puja here. And that is the beauty of the puja, because we're inviting everyone, and only after all the Devi and Devatas come, then we invite the Pradhana Devata, the
Satyanarayana along with
Lakshmi along with Satyanarayana. And we give them respect, we offer them food, we offer them our prayers, but most importantly, we offer them our devotion, we offer them our bhakti, and with the hope that we get blessed with prosperity and peace and happiness and health. And it's not just us, But when we perform the puja, it is one of those pujas that we don't have to invite people. People get to know that we are performing Sri Satyanarayana Puja, and when people hear about it, they come.
Yeah.
And it is the like-mindedness that comes along with it. And the whole purpose of people coming in is to witness the puja, to participate in the puja, offer prayers, listen to the katha, the story that comes with it. And it is a celebration of the whole ritual that absolutely amazes me when we talk about Sri Satyanarayana Puja.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And when we do it, it kind of has the element where we do the invoking of all the deities.
Yes.
And then what else also happens along in the sort of rest of the steps in the puja?
So it is Vishnu himself who told us how to conduct the puja. So in Hinduism, we talk about the memory by listening to things. And the first thing we know, or the only thing that we know about Satyanarayana Vrata is how the tradition of the Vrata has been passed down generations after generations only by listening. Saying that Shruti, Smriti, Purana. So it ties in beautifully with that. Vishnu himself told us how to perform the puja. And we can then add rituals and ceremonies and prayers to it. But at the very basic puja that Vishnu told us is there is only a few things that you need. You need devotion, bhakti, and you don't need many materials. But what you need is to give respect to those who come and attend the puja. So if one brings in their bhakti, their devotion, and the second is the respect for the people who come to witness and respect for the deities who come to participate, that's all there is. That's all that Vishnu has said. And everything else that is something that we've added to improve our experience of offering prayers to Vishnu.
Absolutely. And there is at the end of the puja, there is also the kada element, which is the storytelling part. So can you kind of enlighten us a bit about the storytelling, who is telling the story, significance that is communicated through these stories and all of that?
Yes. An essential part, an absolutely essential part of Sri Satyanarayana Vrata Puja is listening to the story. There are two aspects of it. One is listening to the story, and the second is trying to understand what is the message the story is giving us. And what would I learn from it when I sit and listen to the story? I mean, as a priest, we've read these stories hundreds of times when we performed these prayers at people's homes and at our own home and the temple. But when we actually sit and read the story and try to understand, there's always a hidden meaning behind the story, behind each story. The form of Vishnu that we offer prayers to in Satyanarayana, we know there are 1,000 forms in which we offer prayers to Vishnu. And the form that I personally invite Vishnu to come and join us when we perform this puja is Shantakaram, Bhujagashayanam, Padmanabham, Suresham, Vishwadharam, Gagnasadrisham, Meghavarnam, Shubhangam, Lakshmikantam, Kamalanayanam, Yogavrit, Dhyanagamyam, Vande Vishnum, Bhavabhayaharam, Sarva Lokaika Natham. So it is that Sarva Lokaika Natham that we are inviting into the room. So the first time ever we heard about the puja, it was Sri Satyanarayana himself who revealed it to a poor Brahmin in the city of Kashi. And the experiences of the poor Brahmin performing this puja then caught up with others, and that spread in the world. And in the forest of Naimisharanya, Sota Paraniji, he is the one who talked about this vrata and how it is done, and he shared that knowledge to various other jnanis and priests and disciples who were there with him. And that from that point on, we know that this vrata has spread quite a lot and is followed with a lot of devotion and bhakti. So the Satyanarayana Vrata has 5 stories that we talk about. The first story is about Vishnu himself saying to an old Brahmin how this puja should be performed. And the reason that came here is Narada was traveling, and in his travels he found that we in the Bhuloka were suffering, and we did not know how to get rid of the suffering. And he did what he's best at. He went to Narayana. There was a very nice statement in the Katha. Narada goes to Narayana. Narayana knows everything. He knows why Narada is here.
Yeah.
But he won't ask Narada that. And Narada is happily doing what he does. He's forgotten everything else, and he is offering prayers to Lord Narayana and singing his praises. At that point, Vishnu reminds him, what is your purpose? So the key message for me in the first story is that, what is our purpose? Mm-hmm. Yes, we offer prayers to our God and the goddesses, but what is the purpose? Why have you come here? Okay. And Vishnu reminds Narada what the purpose of that visit is. Okay. And that's when Narada says, this is what he's seen in the Bhuloka, everyone is suffering, and what is the solution for them? So the question that Narada asked was not for Narada's benefit. Yeah. The question he asked was for Loka Kalyanam. So the first time ever this vrata was told by Vishnu to Narada was for not just the suffering of a person or an individual, but for everyone in the Bhuloka, Loka Kalyanam. So the 2 take-home messages for me from the first story is knowing what our purpose is, whilst also offering prayers to our gods and goddesses. And the second is, when we ask questions, we have to think of what is good for the humankind. So that is the first story's message for me. Okay. So the way the story progresses, if we listen to the story, the first we talk about in Hinduism we talk about the various varnas. Yeah. So if you look at the story, the first time we talk about a Brahmin performing the puja, but the puja does not stay with the Brahmin. Yeah. Okay. As the Brahmin is performing the puja, a woodcutter comes and he sees the puja, and the woodcutter is given that respect. The woodcutter is given that respect. And that's where the ethos of, when you listen to the puja, you don't need an invite to come and listen to Satyanarayana Puja. Everyone who's passing by hears about it, they come, listen to it, and everyone gets the benefit of the puja. So the woodcutter came to the house of a Brahmin. He was given respect. So the take-home message there is respect everyone who's coming. Yeah. Get respect, and then don't keep the knowledge to yourself. Yes. Everyone can share the knowledge. So the knowledge is shared to the woodcutter. And who performs the puja for the woodcutter? There was no priest. Yeah. You don't need a priest to perform the Satyanarayana Puja. The woodcutter, he himself performs the puja. How does he perform it? He does not know he might not have had access to the knowledge or the mantras. But what he probably had was faith, devotion, and he just gathered some of the materials he thought would be useful for the puja, and he offered it. Yeah. That's all Vishnu said he needs. He does not want what materials we are offering. What he wants is our devotion. So the woodcutter offered the devotion, and he benefited from it. The thing that I absolutely love about the second part of the story is, you don't need a priest to perform this puja. Anyone can do it, and the most important thing is, don't keep the puja to yourself. Let people know, and encourage them to do it by themselves. So we talk about the Brahmin, we talk about the woodcutter, and then we move on to the third story, the third part of the story, which is the king is performing the puja, and a merchant comes. So we're talking about the various varnas. Yeah. A merchant comes in. So we're not talking of two different classes. There's
Yeah.
someone else who's coming,
Yeah.
they're performing the puja. And the merchant learns about it, and they go and perform the puja. And the merchant is blessed with a daughter, and the daughter grows up and finds a very good husband and a nice happy family. And the son-in-law, the merchant, and the son-in-law, they go out. Satyanarayana, the only thing that was given that merchant and the son-in-law was prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
All along, with the merchant had only one thought, saying that he will perform the Satyanarayana Puja at some point.
Yeah, but he kept delaying it. Yeah,
He kept delaying it. He kept delaying it, and he delayed to an extent that Sri Satyanarayana thought this is a time when we should nudge him, not really punish him.
Yeah.
He was not punished. He was nudged. He was put through a bit of a test.
Yeah.
And when he was put through a bit of a test, that's when the son-in-law and the father-in-law did not know what was going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Sri Satyanarayana opened a door of opportunity
Mm-hmm.
back home to his the merchant's wife and daughter. And that, the act of the daughter wandering, finding the puja happening at someone's place, sitting, listening to the puja, and then coming and telling Mom, I've seen something special, I've seen something this. And the mother thinking, well, this is all because we forgot about this, we are having to face all these hardships. And again, the same thing, the very sankalpa that the wife has taken at that point solved the husband's problems. As soon as she took the sankalpa, then Satyanarayana Swami, he believed and made the king realize that they were genuine merchants and they're not robbers. And then they're released with extra money that was given to them.
Yeah.
What that tells us is when one door closes, or we feel that a door is closing, there's another door opening somewhere.
Yeah.
That is, and he always opens another door for us. That is what I like about that part of the story. And he keeps nudging us, yes, you have to do this puja for me. You said you will do it. He'll make sure we'll do it. But not in a punitive way. It is more in a supportive way. And that is something that I like about the third and fourth part of the story, which is, yes, you need to be firm, you need to be strict, but equally you need to create opportunities. And that is the take-home message for me for the third and the fourth part of the story. And then the final part of the story, which is a king out on a hunting trip, sees a few cowherd boys performing. They're actually playing the art of doing a puja. They're actually not performing, they were playing. But that was enough. That is enough. You don't need to have lots of materials. You don't have to have expensive stuff to perform the puja. And they didn't have anything to offer food to the to Sri Satyanarayana. They just had some bread that they were carrying every day with them. And they offered that to Satyanarayana. Sri Satyanarayana had it, and that became the prasada. And the king refused to eat it out of contempt. And the king had to suffer very dearly for it. So the message for me over there is, again, all these cowherd boys, they don't know anything about puja, they don't know anything, or they might not know anything about it, but they still had a belief that they could do something with whatever they had. And they were blessed, and the prasada was a blessed prasada. The king not taking the prasada got him into trouble. So for me, the take-home message from the fifth is, please do not show any contempt for other people's faith, other people's belief. Understand it, that everyone has a different way of offering prayers. And that is the take-home message from the fifth story that I read and I preach and I reflect on. So that's we all listen to the story. It's part of the puja that the priests read the story, people listen to it. But it's when we start reflecting on the finer aspects of it, we understand how something like this was conceived and was thought through generations and generations and generations and generations ago.
Yeah.
And the values that they try to teach us and instill in us. So that's what I like about Sri Satyanarayana Katha.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Srihari, for sharing the inner meanings. I think over the course of multiple episodes, we have now been able to split the overall ritual into multiple parts. We kind of talked about Sankalpa in one of the episodes, then we talked about Kalasha, which is used for Varuna Puja and invoking the god in another episode. Now we are kind of talking about the inner meaning of the puja. So I think for somebody who has been listening to us over multiple things, it's now multiple pieces of the jigsaw puzzle probably are coming together in terms of what this is doing. So thank you so much for enlightening all of us with those insights. Namaskara.
It's my pleasure. Namaskara.